Good morning to you all. I am DTM Raja Nayed from Jordan. I would like to thank District 105 for the initiative and a big thank you for the PR team. It is my privilege today to interview a great, committed, distinguished Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster Alma Lou.
Good morning.
Good morning, DTM Alma Lou. I have a couple of questions for you, and hopefully at a certain point we want to understand and know DTM Alma Lou more. I would like to ask you, when did your journey start at Toastmasters?
Well, as I recall, I'm not good on dates, but it started, I think, in 2007, 2006, something like that, when I joined Rainbow Toastmasters Club.
In Jordan.
In Jordan.
Or else in Jordan. Or else, yes, of course. Why did you join Toastmasters? What inspired you, or what made you join Toastmasters initially?
Well, that's a rather long, complicated story, but it goes like this. One of my friends, Rosemary Dare, who was a DTM.
Yes, DTM.
For years was after me to come, and she said, you like it. Well, I never quite got around to it until another friend, who was then president of the American Women, invited me. She said, we're having a story about, we're having a meeting, and we're going to be doing debates. Well, I wasn't too enthusiastic about the subject, but because she wanted me to come, I went, and it was very interesting. And I found that the group of ladies was very interesting because the Rainbow was a women's club, essentially. So I went, and I enjoyed meeting the people there. The ladies were all cosmopolitan and different cultures, and the thing was that they were all well educated, which I enjoyed. So I decided that according to the rules, I went back a second time and enjoyed seeing them again in natural circumstances. And then the third time, and after that I joined, and that's when I became Toastmaster. And the first meeting after I joined, or first or second, I did my icebreaker.
Okay.
And my icebreaker was not, I didn't know what I was doing making an icebreaker, but I knew I'd had learned how to make a public speech. So I did PowerPoint and all this business, and
from your icebreaker,
on my icebreaker, and it was funny because afterwards the evaluator said, "Well, you really surpassed the icebreaker. You don't have to do the most of them don't do the PowerPoint,
of course."
But
yes,
this is what I knew how to do. So this was the beginning.
So, why did you join?
Why? Well, as I said, because this was of course, I like to talk.
Yes.
Everybody knows
this is what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I like to talk. And it was an opportunity to practice speaking in a more professional way of putting things together, and to do it that way. And I enjoyed the company, and I made a lot of friends, and this was important too.
At this point, how long did it take you to complete your DTM?
Well, as you said, I started in 2007.
I let you do the calculation.
Well, and here we are in 2020. I made it. So it took me that long, off and on. And there were delays because there wasn't always a slot for me to do my speeches and so on and so forth. So this was...
Apart from achieving your DTM, your Distinguished Toastmaster, what other achievements did you have?
Well, along the line...
As a Toastmaster.
Okay, along the line were the different offices I held, like when I was secretary.
Yes.
And that was an interesting thing because I go by the book. Everybody knows I go by the book, and I found out that the secretary was to have certain documents and so on and so forth. So I went to the previous secretary, and she didn't know anything about it. So I had to organize and find things. And then from being secretary, the next year I was elected president of the
Of that same club you were secretary at. That's
Yes.
good.
And I guess they saw a glimmer of leadership or something.
Mhm.
But that was really a challenge to be the president. And then the following year,
Why was that a challenge to you?
have you ever dealt with women? And everybody has their own idea, and so on and so forth. And to keeping the peace is something, and getting them to do their challenges and get things.
And how was your experience as a president or as a leader of a club?
Well,
What did that lead to?
Well, it led to, actually, our club got citations for being distinguished and so on.
Mhm.
And president that year, I went to DTAC, and I found that exciting. And as any Toastmaster who has the opportunity to go to DTAC, they
Do you
should.
think attending or being at DTAC adds value to you as a Toastmaster?
Oh, definitely, because you meet more Toastmasters, it broadens your horizons to meet more people, different cultures, and then at the contest you see what the level is, what the level is at these contests. And it's excellent.
Any other achievements as a Toastmaster?
Well, I think one of my shining achievements that I'm most proud of was establishing Power Elite Club. And this came because I wanted to get my challenges done, the different levels of making my speeches. But at the Rainbow, there were so many people, there were almost 50 people in the club. So there was not an opportunity to get to do the speeches that one needed. So I talked with some of my friends, and they said, well, yes, they'd like to start a club because they felt the pressure and the lack of opportunity. And so we started Power Elite, and many of the ladies who were including yourself, if you recall,
I remember very well, yes.
that we got together and we started at the club.
That was a challenge, yes.
Yes, but we just got the idea, I think it was in the spring, and by October we were chartered and having meetings. So
And it was an advanced club.
it's an
as I
advanced club,
recall.
which means that any new member had to have completed their original CC. They didn't have pathways then, but you had to finish at least the CC to be a member.
What would you tell me and other Toastmasters about pathways? What do you think?
Well, at first I wasn't convinced about
Reluctant.
I wasn't convinced about
Yeah.
pathways. I was used to the old ways of doing things and found it was okay. But then once I got into pathways, I found that it was much easier
Yeah.
and much more adaptable to what you as a Toastmaster want to do. The only thing is that though it's in the grain of pathways, but you're not obviously doing leadership. It's not as obvious, but it's there in what you're expected to do. So this is I really, after doing pathways, and I'm still working on my project, I found it exciting and challenging because you're more working on your own.
On your own, you're depending on your own.
Yes.
I have another question, which I've always wanted to ask you, and now I have the chance. How did Toastmasters experience affect your personal life? What does a Toastmaster experience do?
I think that one finds the opportunity. Actually, what it does, it gives you the confidence in almost any situation with any people, no matter who they are, especially important people, that you have the confidence of being able to speak and speak intelligently and with organized thoughts, of being able to speak to people. And it takes you forward into your life of meeting people wherever you are. And the other thing I found with Toastmasters, there's a certain equality among us. We're all Toastmasters, okay, some of us are DTMs and some of us are just Toastmasters, but there's a certain equality there that we get to know each other and share. And that's the other thing about the Toastmaster experience, is that you get to know people and you make good friends.
Mhm. What did achieving your DTM give you?
3 initials.
3 initials. Apart from that,
It gave me a sense of completion. In other words, my goal started in 2007. In 2020, I had completed the whole roster of projects that one does to get to the DTM. And not only that it's not just the exercise. You have to be an area director, you have to be president, you have to make an HPL, and all these things go together to show that you're capable of doing this. It's not just your everyday life, but if you're in business or if you're professional, it shows you that you can do that too.
so you didn't limit yourself in a certain time that I have to get my DTM now.
No.
You gave yourself.
No, I had no idea. I had no intention of when I would do it, but it was just step by step.
Step by step.
And as it occurred, it occurred.
At this point, what would you tell a new Toastmaster? A Toastmaster who has just joined Toastmasters.
I would tell him, enjoy the experience.
Elaborate.
Okay. I would tell him, enjoy
Please.
it, make your friends, do the best you can, and incorporate the values of Toastmaster, especially integrity, the honesty and integrity, service and doing what you can for your club, and service and responsibility of when you say you're going to do something, you do it. And then
The commitment.
Yes. And then the other main thing is excellent. When you do something, do it the best you can. That is what makes a Toastmaster. It doesn't matter if you get to the DTM, but these are the qualities that make the Toastmaster a Toastmaster. The values.
So once you're a Toastmaster, you will always be a Toastmaster.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You can sit back and not do anything for 20 years and go back and say, well, I was a Toastmaster. You were, but you still are.
Well, thank you very much, DTM Alma Lou, for sharing your experience, and hearing this from you is a privilege.
Thank you,
very
DTM
much.
Raja.
Thank you very much. Back to you. Thank you.